Dallas really played a lot of zone defense last year, and I thought it worked out well for them, especially with the personnel they brought in. Tyson Chandler manning the paint really helped that club.
Now here's Nowitzki. So the opening lineup for the Heat. Chalmers and Wade are the 1 and the 2. LeBron and Bosh are the 3 and the 4. And it's Anthony in at the center.
A fantastic steal. He knew exactly when to jump into that passing lane. Well done.
The 3 from LeBron. Shot is off. And Dallas the other way. Steve, back to Dallas. Sometimes a team needs to find an identity on defense, and they found that last year with the zone. That was a little clever trick, Clark Kellogg, that Rick Carlisle, the coach of the Mavs, inserted in that team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the zone, it fit their personnel. You can't overlook the impact that Tyson Chandler has had on their defensive disposition. They have guys that have length that can cause problems in the passing lane. So the zone defense just made some sense.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, earlier I had a chance to speak with Rick Carlisle. We talked about the task of taking on an offense with so much firepower, and he was excited for his team. He said these are the games we need to get up for as a defense. It'll be a good chance to see what we need to do to keep improving on that end of the floor. Guys?
Thanks, Doris. Well, Clark, that's a potent offense they're up against right now, and they know it.
You know, I wouldn't doubt that we see them make a few adjustments on the move over the course of the game, in the flow, making changes.
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments as the game goes along. This team is too dynamic offensively to deal with by playing one style. And so the schemes, I think, will change according to how the game's going.
Now here's Kidd after Dwayne Wade's miss, and stolen by Chalmers.
That's 2 turnovers already in just the first couple of minutes of play, so he's going to have to pick up his game.
And Fernandez slams it in.
Well, they really look to run immediately after that turnover.
Well, that's how you cash in. You don't want to waste any time after the turnover. Go at it right away. When the Heat struggled early on last season, Eric Spoelstra was unfairly thrown on the hot seat. He kept his cool, though, very impressively, and the Heat turned their season around, and the talk quieted down. That's a credit to Spoelstra.
Now here's Wade. Clock at 4. Lets the 3 fly, and it's LeBron missing. Now the Mavericks with it. Back to Spoelstra of Miami. Clark, with the way the Heat finished, you have to think things will change. I know, Steve, you were very impressed with the way he managed that team in the postseason.
Yeah, I thought Eric Spoelstra was great. Now, a lot of people are focusing on the final series when Rick Carlisle stole the show, but to be fair to Spoelstra, he inherited a very difficult situation with a lot of talent but huge expectations. And I think Miami had a solid year, a very good year. The question now is, can they get back to the finals and finish the job?
Brendan Haywood, he's checked in for the Mavericks. Terry comes in for Rudy Fernandez.
Good, strong move and not much defense there.
LeBron dishes to Chalmers. Good ball movement. Back to Bosh. Goes up from the top of the key. Again, the miss by the Heat.
Quite the interesting season for Chris Bosh last year. I mean, obviously more team success than he really enjoyed in Toronto, but individually, his numbers dropped a bit. I don't think it bothered him, though. He wanted to win.
And not going to let him get that easy dunk. Defense stopping the easy 2, but a foul called, and a trip to the free throw line instead. Well, talking about Bosh's numbers from last season, Steve, his rebounding and his field goal percentage did drop off from the year before.
Well, and his shooting percentages last year were really in line or even above his career numbers. So I thought Bosh had a good season. It just took him some time to kind of adjust to playing with his new team and a new style, but ultimately Bosh made a big impact down there. Well, you could see last season with the big 3 that early on offensively they couldn't quite figure it out. But as the season went on, they got more and more comfortable with each other. And I thought by the end of the year, they played pretty well together. That's the way to do it. Really nice ball movement there.
Mavericks leading by 3. Terry outside. Nowitzki. Here's Haywood. Puts up the baby hook. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. It's on Chris Bosh. And you're right, Steve, about what you said in regard to the Heat. You know, anytime you bring new guys together, there is a feeling out period. But Clark, obviously, this was an extreme case.
Yeah, I agree with both of you there. I mean, it just takes a lot of time and massaging when you have that much star power coming together for guys to figure out their roles and then accept their roles and excel in them. That's a 3-pronged process.
A lot.
Yep.
A lot to deal with. Now here's LeBron. He passes to Haslam. Haywood against LeBron. And here's Miller outside. That's good. Miller's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Outside Kidd. The dish to Marion. It's Terry outside. They grab their own miss. A second chance effort. And the layup good by Nowitzki.
Hey, he saw that lane to the offensive glass, and that's how he cashed in.
The Heat trail by 3. Here is House. Trying his luck deep. Haslam, that's good. There's 37 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. Now here's Kidd. Terry outside. And it's Miller picking him up. Terry kicks to Haywood. Kicks it out to Terry. Covered by Miller. Outside for Kidd. Over LeBron. And there's Jason Kidd on the assist by Terry. Kidd's got his second bucket of the night. Here is House. LeBron outside. Fires for 3. Shot is no good. And so both teams. Here's Chalmers.
Looking at Kidd, I mean, he's never been really a big contributor offensively via his field goal percentage. But last year it was even worse than normal.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. On the floor right now for the Mavericks. They've got Terry. Chandler out there with Marion. And it's Caron Butler. And it's Barea in at the point guard position. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Kevin, Dirk Nowitzki, a humble superstar, he never gets full of himself. If anything, it's the opposite. Head coach Rick Carlisle, no one's going to be a harsher critic of his game than him. One of the things we've all got to do is make sure he's not too hard on himself. He's going to take a lot of that stuff personally because as the face of the franchise, he wants a responsibility for winning and losing. That's what makes him special. Even after winning the ultimate prize, you know Nowitzki won't let up with his great work ethic.
That's why he's a champion, Doris. Thanks. Yeah, and the numbers on Kidd, you're right, Clark. Shot around 36% from the floor. Which, you know, Steve just isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, except that Jason Kidd is a guy whose game revolves around everything else. You know, he doesn't have to make shots to be effective. You know, 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. You know, the way he defends and chases down loose balls and rebounds. Jason Kidd, regardless of how he shoots, is going to be a great player.
Miller, the pass to Haslam. Shot clock at 6. In for the dunk.
Boy, he found a little alley that time and took it right to the rack.
Pretty big alley it was, guys. You're right.
Yeah, it was not the best defense you're ever going to see, that's for sure.
Here is Barea. And Dallas calls their first time out of the game.
Well, the big story, of course, a year ago for Miami was the formation of the big three, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. And although it took some time for those three to click, eventually they figured it out.
And making a change here, the Mavericks. Nowitzki's checked in. And then for Miami, Ilgauskas is checked in for Joel Anthony. Bosh comes in for Udonis Haslem. And it's LeBron in for Mike Miller. It's stolen by Wade.
Great defensive work right there. The quick hands lead to the turnover.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Yeah, don't give up anything for free. I like that. Send him to the line.
Yeah, they don't want to sit back and watch you lay it in. I mean, make them earn it. Make them earn it. Don't give up anything easy.
And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Steve, back to what you said about Miami. They struggled out of the gate. They were 9-8, but after a rough November, they kicked it on in December. And Clark, I think really the game that kind of spun them around was their first LeBron appearance in Cleveland in early December against the Kings.
Yeah, that was an impressive win. I recall that. That was almost like an NBA Finals type atmosphere in terms of the media attention and so forth. But in that month, they went 15-1 and really seemed to find their rhythm. And quite honestly, never look back. You know, the Mavericks did a really good job against the East, and you have to be strong out of conference if you're going to grab the number 3 seed in the West.
No good on the free throw. You're right about the Mavs there, Clark. 22-8 against the East last year. Steve, some good numbers.
On a surprising note, they swept some of the bigger fish over in the Eastern Conference. 2 wins each versus Boston and Miami. Oddly enough, they struggled against Milwaukee, like playing down to your competition.
Fellas, it's no secret that Dallas isn't afraid to spend or go into the luxury tax, but in their march to get better, they haven't been very careful with the contracts they've given out.
Butler against Wade to halt the run. Shot's good by Butler. Butler's got his second basket. Here's Chalmers. He's got 5. Back to what you said about the Mavs, it seems they can't find the right center to fit them, and they keep giving out dubious contracts. And Steve, you know as well as anybody being in the front office, and Clark, you too at the Pacers. I mean, it's 50-50 a lot of times. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you've got to manage those acorns.
Steve?
Yeah, the personnel decisions are always difficult, especially when it comes to big money deals, but I thought Tyson Chandler really solidified that center position for Dallas last year. Well, Miami had such a turbulent season last year as far as the drama that surrounded that team, but they were consistent and steady on the road, and they ended up with the best away record in the Eastern Conference.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Well, one of the things the Heat had to overcome early last season was their fear of stepping on each other's toes early. There was a turning point that helped them get by that and put it behind them. LeBron James saying of Dwayne Wade, he stopped trying to figure out if it's his time or my time. Instead, we just played our games, and the results were pretty good. Guys, hard to argue with that logic.
All right, Doris.
When you gather stars like that, they'll take some time figuring each other out. Chemistry just doesn't happen overnight.
Well, and eventually they had a terrific year. Didn't quite take it all the way, but got to the finals, and now I think the table is set for Miami to be a contender for years to come. You can't get too loose with the ball down on the low post. Too easy to steal it.
The shot by LeBron, no good. And back to Miami, you know, Clark, road trips aren't easy when you're the villains of the NBA, and there's no doubt that wanted poster in the NBA has got a picture of that Miami threesome out there.
I agree, no doubt about it, but I think that also helped them come together. You know, teams typically do a good job of bonding when they're on the road. That us against them mentality, nobody for you, and quite honestly, really good teams and players enjoy winning on the road more than they do even winning at home.
Dallas calls timeout.
And when LeBron joined the Heat last year, guys, I think he really wanted to play with a score. You know, LeBron's more of a playmaker, a guy who creates offense for others, and I think he pictured himself teaming up with Wade to be the backcourt of the future.
From about 19 feet, Nowitzki, no good. The Heat leading by 7. LeBron kicks to Miller. Guarded now by Jason Terry. And he can't extend the lead to double digits. Going back to what Steve said about LeBron and Wade, Clark, it got a little contentious there, it seemed at times.
Well, you had to expect that to happen, Kevin. I mean, again, 2 outstanding players, 2 brilliant players trying to figure out how to play together. The fact is that LeBron, by his nature, is comfortable deferring. He loves to set other people up, and he's comfortable also taking over when needed. I think the fact that it took a little while is overblown.
And he slams it home. Here's the replay on the Spike Slam King.
Boy, that dunk got everybody up off their seat.
Oh, they're loving it, aren't they, Steve?
Well, how could they not? I mean, he put the cherry on top of the sundae on that one. Tell you what, Tyson Chandler was the perfect fit in Dallas because his ability to protect the rim and to rebound was really a great compliment to Dirk Nowitzki's scoring.
Brendan Haywood, he's checked in for Dirk Nowitzki. And a switch here also for Miami. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Chris Bosh. House kicks to LeBron. They're moving it around. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. When you look at that Mavericks front line, Clark, with Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler, plenty of length, both of them about 7 foot or plus.
Yeah, and you look at Tyson Chandler, I mean, he's actually a long, rangy 7-footer, and teams like the Lakers have really made it a prerequisite to have that size on your front line, and the Mavericks can match up there.
And LeBron's numbers last season really slipped in the early part of the year as he tried to adapt to his new teammates and his new surroundings. But as the season went on, he became more and more effective. And that was one of the reasons he ended up with a career high in field goal percentage, right around 51% from the floor.